Welcome back to engVid with me, Benjamin. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a few of our more outlandish traditions here in the UK. For a very small island, we've got lots of weird and wacky things going on. So I'm going to be trying to explain what some of these are. What's this video good for? This is understanding the sort of culture, getting underneath the skin of it and really exploring the culture and traditions of the UK. Okay, let's go. The last night of the Proms. Not everyone is a fan of this. The Proms is a long line of concerts that go on in the Royal Albert Hall in London, just near Hyde Park, every summer. The last night is obviously the last of those concerts, and lots of people wave their Union Jacks and sing along to slightly jingoistic, and which means a funny sense of pride in one's nation, patriotic songs like Rule Britannia, etc. The monster raving Loony party. So whereas this is very traditional and very straight down the line, this is pretty left side, pretty out there. Monster Raving Loony Party was started by a member of the aristocracy called the Screaming Lord Such. He was some sort of Earl of Harrow or something like this. Some of his manifestos: vote for insanity. Now, whereas the main political parties orientate themselves in terms of left, right or centre according to their political beliefs, Screaming Lord Such said that his political position was sitting facing forward. Okay, I use shorthand in my annotation of the board here, pole short for political. But he has achieved some success. These are three policies that they came up with that have all been adopted in the UK. First of all, we have a vote for anyone aged 18 or above. Before that, I believe it was 21. Pet passports. We now have. Dogs can have a passport and travel abroad. And we do have all-day pubs. So it was probably a bit of a joke to start with. Let's have all-day pubs because they're only opening in the evening 30 years ago. And now you can go in from 11 o'clock. Not to be endorsed wholeheartedly, though. All-day drinking. Right, Baked Bean Museum. Yes, we do have a museum for baked beans. It's in Port Talbot in Wales, and it's ranked number 4 out of 15 attractions in Port Talbot. The Ugly Face Competition. Yes, we have an annual competition for gurning, pulling weird faces. It happens in September in Cumbria, which is in the northwest of the United Kingdom. Morris dancing. This looks a little bit like this. Okay, I wave handkerchiefs and I would have bells down here in my feet. So waving your handkerchief, okay. This has been a tradition in the UK since 1448. That's the first recorded date of Morris dancing. I witnessed it more recently in Suffolk. There's a village there called Middleton. Every Boxing Day, they have a procession of the wren. It's quite strange. Basically, they they black themselves out, and there is a sort of march of a dead wren to celebrate some sort of midwinter pagan festival. The boat race. This is an annual event that happens in the middle of April. It's the is it 8-man team or 8-lady team from Oxford and Cambridge. It goes, I believe, from Hammersmith Bridge to Putney Bridge, and the winner of the team, they get to throw the person who's been steering the cocks into the river. Okay, so that happens every year. If you're watching this from Holland, I believe you're quite adept, you're quite good at doing similar activities yourselves. Now, I know Britain are doing quite well in Olympics these days, but back in the 1970s, we struggled. And there's a couple of people who were sat outside a pub in Derbyshire, which is in the middle of the country. It's in the Midlands. And they were like, oh, we're not winning anything at the Olympics. We've got, you know, all our teams are doing terribly. Let's invent a sport that we can actually win at. So they invented toe wrestling. The problem was that in 1976, a Canadian came along and won the competition. They were so upset by this that they decided to call the whole thing off for a few years. They went into a sulk. But I'm pleased to say that toe wrestling is now back on. And if you go up to Derbyshire, maybe you can find it yourselves. Bog snorkelling. So this is a very English kind of idea, or British idea. The idea that you would go swimming through a kind of nasty, muddy, long puddle. Bog, mud, okay, dirt, snorkel, going up so that you can breathe whilst you are underwater. This was invented in Wales in 1976. And if you have a look at the pictures of bog snorkeling, you'll see that people wear fancy dress, all sorts of unusual costumes. There was one that I particularly liked where obviously the person is swimming like this, but they had a boat on top of them. So all that you could see as the person was going along was this boat going along the water. Now you're not allowed to use swimming stroke, so no breaststroke, no front crawl, no backstroke. You kind of just have to sort of push your way through. And it's 60 yards, you go there and then you go back. Sounds quite fun, give it a go. Right, the next in our sort of calendar of strange events, Guy Fawkes Night. So this commemorates, this remembers when Guido Fawkes, the Catholic revolutionary, shall we say, tried to explode the Houses of Parliament with his gunpowder plot in 1605. Now at the beginning of November, well remembered Benjamin, we make a model of Guy Fawkes, okay, and we put him on a bonfire and we set fire to him and we say, remember, remember the 5th of November, gunpowder, treason and plot. And we never will forget. Da, 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 da. So it's quite strange. There's always an odd feeling as you see this person, this effigy being burnt. Right, some vocab. What I thought I'd do is provide a few different ways of saying weird. You could say unusual, okay? So we have usual means ordinary. I put the prefix in, it means not ordinary. Quirky. This is more for sort of conversational English, the word quirky, but it means, again, weird, slightly eccentric. Odd. I wouldn't want to be called odd by someone. It's a little bit insensitive. The odd one out means the one that is different. Odd, different. Bizarre. Bizarre means strange. Oh, that's so bizarre. It's so kind of, that's unusual. It's different. And put bizarre, so we use that word in French too. Creepy. This has a slightly dark connotation. If something's creepy, it makes you get a bad feeling about it. Curious. Okay, so there's a play on at the West End at the moment called The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. Curious means unusual. Eccentric. So this would be a good word to describe the monster raving Loony party. They're very left field. They're very, very unusual. Far out. This is an American composite word, far out. Again, it means weird, strange. Kooky. This is not a word you would use in your writing, again, meaning weird. Magical. This is sort of a polite way of saying that someone is odd. They're magical, okay? Their head's in the clouds, maybe slightly. Mysterious. So we've got the noun mystery. Okay, we want to know, we want to wonder, we want to imagine what it is. Mysterious. Okay, so what does mysterious mean? It means having something unknown about it. Okay, we don't fully understand. An odd bull. An odd bull is probably slightly more familiar than odd. It's slightly more affectionate, slightly nicer, but it still means very strange. Outlandish. This is a good word. This is a good word that you could use in a piece of writing. Outlandish, again, it means strange. Okay, maybe think of out of the land. It's kind of pretty far out. Peculiar. Peculiar. Okay, this is another good formal word here. And again, it means strange. Hope you've enjoyed. Why not have a go at the quiz now? Sure, it will be a little bit of fun for you. And do come and visit our wonderful and strange island and maybe attend one of these. I'm sure it'll be fun. Until next time.